Hello CS112. Today I'll be going over a quick solution to Lab 1, which has to do with Python basics. The gist of this assignment was that Spongebob finally got his driving license, and he needs to fill up his boat with some fuel. Now, you can assume that his fuel tank is completely empty. His boat holds exactly 12 gallons, and SpongeBob has $70.50 cash to spend on gas. You can also assume the gas price will be between 450 and 550. You can assume the user input's incorrect, and they only sell full gallons. So we are going to inquire what the current price per gallon is for the gas, and also how many gallons SpongeBob will be buying. With that information, we need to perform some programming magic to determine how much the total purchase will be, and how much cash SpongeBob has left over after payments, and what percentage of the tank is still empty. You will also want to display at the end, after all of that, thank you for your purchase, station cashier, and then your name. And then it gives some disallowed and allowed things. Okay. And I'm just going to dive right into it. So I've sort of defined a couple of variables here already. I just created a total tank to represent how much this tank can be filled with, as well as how much cash SpongeBob currently has. And I've also already typed up this thing right here as a print statement at the end, just so you guys don't have to, watch me type so much. Something noticeable here is I was able to use double quotes in here alone because I've used single quotes to make it a string. Now, if I wanted to only have double quotes and make these outer quotes here double quotes, I would need to add one of these guys. I'm forgetting what it's called right now, but what essentially this does is I think it's a delimiter, I don't know, but it will essentially make sure the next character is displayed exactly how it is on your text file when you print it out, rather than making it, breaking it up into an awkward string. So I also have typed up the inquiring about inputs. Something to note about this is that I have wrapped it in a float already, because if I was to just say price per gallon equals input, what is the price per gallon, that would be a string implicitly. That's what it is by default. So if you wrap it in a float, then you're able to do math with it, and we have to do math with it. So let's just dive right into it. I'm going to make a quick code skeleton here, where I'm going to perform the calculations next. Calculations. And then after that, I'm going to display the output. Pretty straightforward assignments, so only two main steps here. This part of the display output, so I'm going to move it closer to that. Now for the calculations, I'm going to create a new variable here, and it wants the total purchase, how much he has left after payment, and what percentage of the tank is still empty, each rounded to 2 decimal places. And we are allowed to use round, so that makes it very easy for us. So now that I have the price per gallon and gallons to buy based off the user inputs, I'm going to say create a new variable, maybe called total cost, and set that equal to, let's say, price per gallon times gallons to buy. So what this is going to do is it's just going to say, okay, you want to buy 4 gallons. Well, each gallon is $5, so you do the math there. That will be your total cost. And next, we have gallons to buy, which I'm going to set equal to I already have that variable. Little brain fart there. Next, I do want to have a leftovers variable. This is just going to represent how much cash is left over. So that's just going to be cash minus total cost. And the very last variable I actually need is going to be the percentage of tank filled. So I'm going to say percentage tank filled equals, and then that's simply going to be, I'm actually going to round it up here so I don't have to do it down there. And it might actually be good to round all of these up here, but to stay consistent, I'm just going to round them in my print statements. So I'm going to make this gallons to buy divided by the total tank space. So this is going to check how many gallons you purchased and divide it by the tank to find the percentage of the tank that was actually filled. So now I'm going to start displaying the output. So before any of the thank you for your purchase things, we actually want to say a few things, one of them being printing your total purchase is, and then I'm going to put a dollar sign right here. And since I want the dollar sign right next to my number, I'm going to have to use concatenation. So I'm going to have to do a plus here, and I'm also going to have to wrap my number in a string. And also, I said I'm going to rounds down here by 2 decimal places. So I'm going to do string rounds, and then finally in here, I'm going to put the total cost variable. And the second argument will be 2, because the way round works is it takes typically a float or a double or whatever decimal point data type, and it's going to round it by whatever the second argument is. So this is going to round it by 2 decimal points, which makes sense for money. And then then that should be good for that. It'll just say your total purchases, however much money it is. Next, we want to display how much money you have left over. So we can say you have, again, I'm going to do the same thing with a dollar sign, as well as the concatenation, and a string, and a round, with the variable called cash. Sorry, not cash. I actually created a variable called leftovers with an S. Yeah, leftovers 2, and then outside here, I'm going to actually add a word leftover. So it's going to say, wow, left over. It's going to say you have like 550 left over. Nice and clean. I have a comma here to add a space. Again, the reason I have to make this a string is because if I didn't, then I would be trying to add letters to a number, which makes no sense in Python, so it will give you an error. So you do have to, on the highest level, make it a string after you do your rounding as a number. So lastly, we want to display the percentage of your tank that is filled. So again, I already have a variable for this, and I'm actually going to start out with it this time. So I'm going to say string rounds, and then I'm going to say percent tank filled, comma 2. And then I do want to have the percent sign squished up against that, so I'm going to do string concatenation right there. And of your tank is filled. So that should do it right there. I'm just going to test it out real quick and see how it goes. So I just need to do need to actually type out Python cat.py. I'm going to hit enter. What is the price per gallon? Let's just do something easy like I would like to purchase 5 gallons. So again, that's going to say your total purchase is 4 times 5, which is $20. And you have 50-50 remaining in the bank. And I'm not too good at percentages myself, so we'll just see what it is. And okay, good. So we got an error, so we can fix that ourselves. And I can't spell, so here I said kasa, but it's actually cash. So let's try that one more time. $4 per gallon, purchasing 5 gallons, and here we go. So like I said, $5.50 left over. You have it was a $20 purchase, and 42% of your tank is filled. Let's try it one more time just to see how things are being updated. Let's try purchasing filling up the entire tank this time. So price per gallon, let's say it's 5, and I would like to purchase 12 gallons. So that's going to be the total of $60. That's going to be a $60 purchase. So once I'm going to end here, now it's going to say the entire thing of your tank was filled. You have $10.05 left over, so on and so forth. So if you have any questions about this, do let me know. And yeah, this was a pretty straightforward one.